It is on record that Gombe resigned his position on the 17th of May 2025. His resignation was also duly transmitted to INEC on the 12th of August 2025. Regardless of his resignation, he decided to approach the courts on September 2nd, 2025, 4 clear months after he resigned, seeking to be recognized as the chairman of the ADC. What this means is that by the 2nd of September, when he approached the court, INEC was already aware that Secretary Arigbesola and I had been inaugurated on the 29th of July in a process monitored by INEC. INEC was also aware that Gombe had resigned his position before the inauguration on the 29th of July. While this matter was in court, our team of lawyers approached the Court of Appeal, challenging the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court. In rejecting the appeal, the Court of Appeal ordered the parties, including INEC, to maintain status quo ante bellum. After this ruling on 12th of March 2026, we noticed a flurry of activities by lawyers associated with Nafiu Bala Gombe, requesting INEC to recognize him as the new chairman, or to de-recognize Arigbesola and I as the secretary and chairman respectively, in a curious interpretation of what constitutes status quo ante bellum. But we know all along that Nafiu Bala Gombe and his lawyers were not acting on their own violation. They had become willing tools in the hands of a ruling party that had lost all support and goodwill to the Nigerian people. A government that had become desperate, so desperate to cling to power by all means, and even if it meant throwing the country into avoidable crisis. In the past couple of months, ADC has become the only viable opposition party left in Nigeria. But this APC government does not want any opposition. While we were fully aware of all their desperate plans, we remained confident that no level of desperation would have driven the government and the INEC to take a direct action against the ruling of the court. But we were wrong. It was therefore, to our surprise yesterday, 1st of April, that INEC issued a press statement after the close of business hours, announcing that it had decided to withdraw recognition of both the ADC leadership, which I heard, and the fictitious one purportedly led by Nafiu Bala Gombe, thereby creating a false equivalence between the parties. By purporting to recognize Nafiu Bala Gombe as a faction, INEC seems to have conveniently forgotten that this individual had resigned his position to the knowledge of INEC itself. The crux of the matter is the interpretation of what constitutes status quo ante bellum, which the Court of Appeal directed should be maintained. From all authoritative counsel at our disposal, there is no legal interpretation of precedent that could possibly lead to the outcome that INEC seeks to foist on our party. Based on his press conference of yesterday, INEC is pretending to be confused as to what constitutes the status quo ante bellum. If this was so, under the circumstances, what one would have expected was for INEC to approach the Court of Appeal to request a judicial interpretation of what truly represents the status quo under the circumstances. But INEC did not do this. While posturing to be neutral, its actions confirm that it has become irredeemably partisan, working, as it were, towards a preconceived agenda. With this action, this INEC has left no one in doubt that it has chosen the path of dishonor and has become complicit in undermining Nigeria's democracy. It therefore can no longer be trusted. What we say in essence is this: INEC cannot choose to fix the status quo from the day it took the administrative action to uphold the names of the new ADC members on its website. Because INEC does not have the power to determine for any political party who its leaders should be. That decision was taken on July 29th, 2025, not on September 9th. With its press conference yesterday, INEC has invented a status quo that never existed, because there was no time that the African Democratic Congress, ADC, did not have a fully constituted leadership. What INEC has done is to create a situation that by its own curious logic leaves the ADC without leadership. This certainly cannot be the status quo that the Court of Appeal directed should be preserved. It is an INEC invention that is not known to any Nigerian law. There is only one conclusion that Nigerians can draw from the 1st of April 2026 action taken by INEC. The electoral umpire has taken sides. It can no longer be trusted. As a matter of fact, INEC has acted in contempt of the Court of Appeal and has therefore acted unlawfully. My fellow Democrats, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is not the ADC that is under attack. It is a direct assault on Nigeria's democracy and the right of Nigerians to choose, to participate, and to exercise their rights as free citizens. We have witnessed how the APC-led federal government has undermined, compromised, and coerced other opposition political parties. The ADC has risen as the last bastion between Nigeria's democracy and full-blown dictatorship. And this is what worries them. What is now unfolding is a concerted effort to dismantle that last bulwark. If we allow this to happen, it could signal the end of our democracy as we know it today. If we yield to it, we would have become complicit by our inaction. We therefore hold it a duty to our democracy and to the Nigerian people to say no. 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 Right now, I speak to Nigerians at home and in diaspora. I also speak directly to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. With 90% of the National Assembly and over 30 of Nigeria's 36 governors in the APC, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, what are you afraid of? Election.
ADC! ADC!
If you are convinced that you have done well for the people who voted for you, why are you afraid of a free, fair, and transparent electoral contest? If you are indeed the Democrat that you claim to be, why are you bent on destroying all opposition political parties in this country? Let me reiterate for the record, there are no competing claims on the leadership of the ADC. Nafi Bala Gombe has no locus whatsoever. INEC should have waited for the Court of Appeal to decide this matter. Instead, INEC went ahead to do the bidding of the ruling party. For let us be clear, the role of INEC over political parties is not administrative, it is not managerial, it is simply supervisory. For the avoidance of doubt, the leadership of ADC inaugurated at the 29th July 2025 NEC meeting remains the lawful leaders of the party. Yes. party members and all Nigerians should therefore remain calm, as there is no cause whatsoever for alarm. It is important to state the net implications of this decision taken by INEC, in case they had not thought of it, or they just do not care. First, by attempting to subvert the leadership of the ADC, INEC has already undermined our participation in the Osun and the Ekiti elections taking place later this year. Secondly, we have our congresses starting on the 9th of April 2026, ending with our convention on the 14th of April 2026. We have given due notice to INEC, and they have acknowledged receipt of that notice. This is what the law requires of us. Let us sound a note of warning. This INEC under Professor Jusha Amopita will be held directly responsible for whatever actions or inaction or reactions that follow this criminal path that it has taken. Our demand is therefore very clear. We demand the immediate resignation or sack of the INEC chairman.
Yes.
Professor Amopita and all his national commissioners. We no longer have confidence in them. We are convinced that they are incapable of conducting any credible election.
Yes.
Let us also make it clear, we are proceeding with our party programs because there is nothing under the law that makes INEC's attendance a mandatory requirement.
Yes.
We have duly served INEC notice and will proceed accordingly. We also call on the international communities to take note of INEC's activities of 1st April under the restraint we have exercised so far. We urge them to recognize the clear threat to Nigeria's democracy and stability, and to hold accountable those who are undermining the integrity of the electoral process. We call on Nigerians to defend our democracy. This is a defining moment. Stand firm, speak out, participate, resist any attempt to impose the one-party system on Nigeria.
Yes.
Nigeria belongs to all of us, and together we must protect it. It is often said that the arc of history does not bend towards tyranny, it bends towards freedom. No matter how long the night may seem, the morning will come. Nigeria will not be silenced. ADC will not be silenced.